If you had a way to turn on a steady stream of ideal clients coming from your colleagues, your competitors, and even your clients? This is what collaborations do. And in my experience, most entrepreneurs understand the power of referrals and referral partners, but they're not tapping in and maximizing this really valuable opportunity. Hey, it's Melanie here, your authority amplifier. And today I want to unpack this a little bit because in my own journey, my own business, I have found that collaborations are a gold mine, but most people are not making time for it, or they are maybe talking themselves out of it. There's some fear around, like, how do I pick people that I really want to collaborate with? So there's a lot of puzzle pieces that get them stuck. And so I want to unpack this a little bit today. And I want to share with you the the easiest way to jumpstart collaborations that can become this evergreen lead source for you, that anybody can do at any time, no matter what kind of business you have, no matter where you're at on your journey. I want to make this super simple and easily actionable today. So what I'm talking about is one of the pillars of my 7-step framework that I talk a lot about here in the Amplify Your Authority Facebook group. And if you're listening to this later, you can absolutely get this resource. If you're listening now and you're in the group and you're like, okay, I don't have that 7-step framework. So this is a 7-step framework that adds another 6 figures to your business each year by leveraging other people's audiences. And it's my framework. It has 7 components that you need to master and have in place for this process to really dial in the higher payouts, the more profitable business model, be able to scale your impact and your reach in the world, and to tune in that message so that message becomes your magnet. If you're in the group, just type plan if you don't have it. And I will be happy to reach out to you via direct message and share with you how to get it. You're listening to this later and you're like, Melanie, how do I get this plan? Just go to amplifywithmelanie.com. Okay, so what are we going to do to turn on the power of collaboration? So first of all, what I mean by collaboration, it's not necessarily joint ventures, right? Joint ventures and affiliate marketing, that framework is maybe part of your collaborations, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the only way to collaborate. And I think it's time for us to reframe the way we partner with people. A lot of people don't like the traditional, hey, promote my launch, send a gazillion emails to your list to promote my program that I'm going to do this really long 6-week promotion on. I get it. Like, that's not really my thing either. So I have been looking at ways like, how do we tap into a new way to collaborate, maybe leaning into the superpower of collaboration a little bit more. And what has been emerging for me are some very powerful ways to activate what I call collaboration currency without feeling like we have to compromise our values, where we have to contort our email marketing or our promotional schedule to tap into someone else's schedule. Like, collaboration should be an expansive win-win-win. It's a win for you because you're helping people on your list or in your community solve a problem, and you're getting maybe a financial compensation for that. You're helping the partner because you're bringing new leads into their life. You're introducing them to opportunities and clients that they wouldn't get access to otherwise. And it's a win for the person that's coming in as the client because they're getting a problem solved, or they're getting access to something that they really want. So I like to think of collaboration currencies as win-win-win. Now, first of all, collaboration is not limited to someone who is your peer who maybe solves a different problem. That is an ideal person to collaborate with. You do different things, but serve a similar audience. But it's not limited to that. It could be your clients. This could be competitors. There are ways to collaborate with your competitors when you really look at the win-win-win philosophy here. So I know you were probably going, this sounds really exciting. I tapped into collaboration as just like completely accidentally in the beginning. Early on in my business, I did not really know how to build my own list. I did not know how to be visible to ideal clients. I didn't, we didn't have Facebook ads and a lot of the things that are available today. We didn't even have podcasts. This is, back in 2000. But what we did have was stages, and people were starting to build email lists back then. And what I quickly discovered was when you know how to make introductions, when you know how to give somebody a visibility opportunity, you can co-create massive opportunity for everyone involved. And I had collaboration partners who they sent me well over 7 figures in business over a three-year period. And it really gave me my jumpstart to recognizing the power of collaboration. Now, I continue to collaborate today, but the way I collaborate looks a little bit differently because A, some of the strategies have changed, and B, I found that the way I want to collaborate with people looks very different today. And a lot of it, I was just speaking to a new collaboration partner, a lot of it has to do with just trusting what feels expansive versus what feels constricted or doesn't feel good. And to really recognize that in others, when I'm coaching my clients, because this is a big part of what we do in the Amplify Your Authority Inner Circle, is to look at how do we tap into collaboration currency. My absolute favorite way to do that is very different from everyone else. And it has to do with leaning on our guest expert process. Okay, so that's why I teach guest expert system. It is the easiest way to kickstart a collaboration opportunity. I'll unpack that in a minute. Let me first talk about where a lot of people get stuck when I'm coaching them on this model. And I want to bring these to the forefront, because if this is one of the things that you go, yeah, but, or you dismiss, or the idea, or you get into resistance, we need to reframe this a little bit if you want to tap into this opportunity. And I got to tell you, I've tested this. I've tested what it takes for me to go out and invest in Facebook ads, to do my own lead generation, and what happens that's different, the magnitude of leads, ideal leads that come in. There's no comparison to what I'm going to share with you today. So first of all, a lot of times when I'm coaching somebody, they say, Melanie, this feels off to me. Like, I don't know if I want to promote other people, or I don't really know how to do this complicated JV thing. So first thing you have to know about collaborations is we need to find the way that works for you. And what I'm going to share with you today as a strategy is something that everybody can do. Now, you might need a little help getting it organized in a way that feels aligned, but this, like, feeling off, if the collaboration starts by you sharing your superpower in a bigger way, like you getting an opportunity to be on a platform that is going to reach hundreds, thousands, or maybe even millions, hopefully that feels expansive to you. And if not, we definitely need to talk, because that means you've got some visibility barriers that are blocking you. Secondly, the thing that I noticed that gets stuck for people is not feeling clear on what you would collaborate with someone on. So maybe you're a little fuzzy right now on your offering. Okay, again, this is one of the 7 steps in the framework, is having a clear and compelling offer. I love high ticket offers, but you can do all different kinds of leveraged offerings. You can do one-on-one work, wherever you are. There is an opportunity. If you're not feeling clear and there's some fog around it, or you've tried some things and it's not working, then yes, you're going to want to kind of tune that in a little bit, but that shouldn't stop you from tapping into this opportunity. The third is, how do I get started? Where do I find these people? How do I know someone's the best partner for me? Let's talk about that. That's what I want to deep dive on today. So my favorite way to find and kickstart collaborations, and maybe even open up to a collaborative partner that you didn't even know was available to you, is by being a guest expert on other people's podcasts. So what I mean by being a guest expert, if this is a new term to you, it basically means that you have an expertise, you have a message that you know will serve more people, and hopefully is going to attract ideal clients into your sales process. And you are going to guest on someone else's podcast who serves that audience and showcase what you do. Now, here's the trick. First of all, you really want to make sure you have a message that's resonating, that's relevant to those audiences. You need to know who that audience is. And if this is something that you're stuck on, one of the steps that I teach in Guest Expert System, and I was just walking a new client through this the other day, is don't just be on every podcast. Don't just be on every online show that asks or that you see out there. Find the ones that are really speaking to your ideal audience. And sometimes there's some fine tuning involved. And if that's a struggle for you, Guest Expert System might be a good fit, because that's the first thing we do is we fine tune the message and make sure it's relevant and who that audience is that needs to hear that message. So you're on the right podcasts and stages. I have a client who's going through this process right now. And he has a unique field. He works with a lot of nonprofits. So we have been, I'm like, don't go on those podcasts, go on these podcasts, because I have a whole library of podcasts that I use for Guest Expert System clients. And so we've been scouring that, going, all right, so which ones are the right audiences, and getting him on those stages. So it's not, you want a good ROI, right? You don't want to waste your time and energy. Now, how do you kickstart or transform a guest expert interview where you're being featured into a collaboration opportunity? So let's assume you've got the right person on the other side. You really vetted them well. You've got a great topic. You've got all those pieces, and there's been some energy building either before or after the interview. You've had a chance to talk a little bit. I suggest that you look at those green room conversations, the conversations you have before or after the interview, as an opportunity to kind of explore a little bit. Like, could there be something else that would be a fit? And there are 3 questions I typically ask somebody. So like, what are you like focused on right now in your offerings? So I'm asking them what kind of work they're doing. Tell me more. Who do you see as an ideal client for you? Like, what kind of people do you like to serve? And so what I'm listening for is, does this person share my audience? And then if I'm feeling the synergy and that energy is continuing to build in a positive way, and it doesn't always, sometimes those conversations you're like, nope, I'm out. This isn't a good fit. Well, what I might do is say, I'm really noticing some synergy here. Would you be open to having a conversation about how we might collaborate further from today? Or, based on what you're doing, I don't know if you know, but one of my key offerings is this, and I can see some great synergy here. Would you be interested in exploring ways beyond today's podcast interview, what we could do? And 1 or 2 things is going to happen. They're going to say, or actually 3 things. They're going to say, absolutely. Could we schedule a follow-up call? Because I'm jumping to my next call. Or they might say, no, not a fit. Or, hey, I'm open. Like, let's talk about it now. Do you have time? But if you don't ask and you don't take responsibility for opening up the conversation, chances are you're going to miss the opportunity, because we don't want to rely on other people to invite us into the thing. Another way in on this conversation might be something like, so what do you have coming up? What are you excited about right now? Tell me more. Like, I want to get to know you. They've given you a gift of asking you to the podcast, and they're sharing their community with you. What have you started to look for a way you could give back? Maybe you have your own podcast or your own show, or there's some genuine synergy there, and you'd be willing to email for them, or share something on social. Or maybe you've got an event where you're organizing a few different speakers or something of that nature, and you'd like to see if they'd be a good fit for that, bringing their expertise to your stage. Or it just simply could be, how do we support each other more? Don't just get off the call without exploring if you find some synergy there. Being a guest expert, like really tapping into this podcast market, is pure gold, because most of the time, these are not fee-based visibility opportunities. These are opportunities to open a door and see what else is there. So I'll be curious to hear how you're leveraging podcasts right now. Are you doing it? Are you maybe holding back because you're not quite sure how to kickstart your collaborations? Maybe you are like kind of not sure what your message is, which, Guest Expert System, I can't recommend highly enough the value there for you and the opportunity. Now, quick heads up. I'm sharing this with you as part of the community. The investment for Guest Expert System is going up at the end of the month. So if you've been on the fence about taking Guest Expert System, I highly recommend you jump in now, guestexpertsystem.com. It is going up by $1,000 to join the program. Still completely worth every cent when you think about what's possible in terms of revenue and, more clients and more visibility that comes out of each and every spotlight that you get featured in. And if you want to save a good chunk of cash on joining the program, make sure you get your spot saved ASAP, guestexpertsystem.com. Okay. Let's wrap up with one truth. Collaboration is an ongoing, long-term evolution of a relationship. And if you don't see the fruits immediately, don't hesitate to reach back out. Sometimes I reach back out to people who I've been on their podcast or they've been on mine years later and say, hey, I've got something going on that might be a good fit for you. You open? The relationship already was ignited. Sometimes people just need to be at the right space at the right time, have the right amount of bandwidth to say yes to something. So think long game, not short game. Always ask. But remember, being a guest on other people's podcasts is a great way to ignite these collaborations that might take months or years to cultivate without that first door being opened.